Imagine being in the seat of a space shuttle being launched into outer space. You are fully aware that even if one screw is loose, the mission can go horribly wrong. So space has fascinated me since I was a little kid. I've wondered and researched about space and our journey to explore it for a long time. On January 28th, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger was launched but caught fire midair. I will educate you on NASA's disastrous 25th Space Shuttle mission, the address given by Ronald Reagan to commemorate the fallen astronauts, and the significance of his speech. This event changed NASA and the U.S. space program forever. It was a pinnacle disaster in the eye of the public at the time. So let me give you some more information on the mission and the incident itself. During this time, the U.S. was expanding NASA, and they were trying to explore and learn more about space. They were also trying to learn more about what humans were capable of achieving. The Challenger was on a mission to test the new lightweight build of NASA's space shuttles. The Challenger was also on a mission to deliver a data relay satellite. There are many problems with the launch, and they ignored them. There are speculations that the White House pushed to launch the Challenger as soon as possible. On the day of the launch, there was ice on the rocket boosters, which contributed to the dangers of launch. One of the Challenger's rocket boosters came loose during flight and caught fire. The crew of 7 all died shortly after. Reagan's speech is thought to be one of his best speeches during his presidency. A State of the Union speech was planned to be given the same day, January 28th, but Reagan instead gave his address to the Challenger incident. I believe this speech is very significant because it gave hope and security to the broken public. Ronald had to give his speech to the little kids, teens, adults, and the elderly, all without patronizing anyone. He had to give the public motivation to continue everyday life and to get up and keep going. I believe this speech does a good job at that, and to see for yourself, I will read an excerpt from Reagan's speech. I want to say something to the school children of America who are watching the live coverage of the shuttle's takeoff. I know it is hard to understand, but sometimes painful things like this happen. It's part of the process of exploration and discovery. It's all part of taking a chance and expanding man's horizons. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. The Challenger crew is pulling us into the future and will continue to follow with them. I've always had great faith in and respect for the space program, and what happened today does nothing to diminish it. We don't hide our space program, we don't keep secrets, and we don't cover up things. We do it all up front and in the public. That is the way freedom is, and we wouldn't change it for a minute. We'll continue our quest in space. There will be more shuttles, more shuttle crews, and yes, more volunteers, more civilians, and more teachers in space. Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue. I want to add that I wish to talk to every man and woman who works for NASA or who's worked on this mission and tell them your dedication and professionalism has moved and impressed us for decades. And we know of your anguish. We share it. There's a coincidence today. On this day, 390 years ago, the great explorer Sir Francis Drake died upon his ship off the coast of Panama. In his lifetime, the great frontiers were the oceans, and a historian later said he lived by the sea, died on it, and was buried in it. Well, today we can say the story of the Challenger crew. Their dedication was like the Drake complete. The crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us by the manner in which they lived their lives. We will never forget them nor the last time we saw them this morning as they waved to us goodbye and slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God. So I believe Reagan's words gave the broken public motivation and a sense of security. School children, teachers, parents, and adults watched on TV as their heroes were being blown up in flames. How could you convince anyone is going to be okay after seeing such tragedy? This is the first time astronauts died off ground. This is the first time a State of the Union address has been canceled. This event changed NASA, it changed the United States, and it changed the public view forever. Reagan was a master of his words, and to this I believe this speech was one of the best ones I've listened to. I want to point out that speech was put together in less than a day's time, which adds to the uniqueness of it. Reagan's speech made it seem like he was talking to you directly by his calm and collected yet heartfelt tone. The Space Shuttle Challenger failed mission is a tragedy upon many of our nation has faced. I believed Reagan loved our country very much and cared a lot about our people within. Tragedies are natural, and there will be many more we face as individuals, as states, as nations, as a worldwide. The only way we can come back from them is in a strong sense of humanity and believing that we can push through it and bounce back together. Thank you.